Hello everyone and welcome to the Kiki London YouTube channel. My name is Amanda and in today's video we are going to be looking at how to encapsulate chunky glitter using the Kiki London Easy Build Up Gel. So I really hope you all enjoy watching today's video. I thought I would show you all the products that I'm going to be using to start off with. So we're going to be using clear rubber base as well as a coloured rubber base. Here we have RB05. Then for our colours I'm going to be using Lady Vegas, which is absolutely beautiful. We're also going to be adding in some Divine Kiss, Mr. Grey and Royalty. You are only going to see a little bit of those three colours because they're just for a hint of nail art. And then for our encapsulation, we're going to be using the Easy Build Up in Crystal Clear because it has the best clarity. And then to finish, I'm going to be using the new Hema Free No Wipe Top Coat. Now to start off with, I have already got press on nails applied as my bases and I've already buffed them. Now you could do this design or this kind of technique over sculpted tips or tips that you've applied. So you could either sculpt or apply your tips and then do a thin clear base, or you could do it over your natural nails, which I would always advise having a thin clear base down as well. Because I'm working over tips, I don't normally come in and apply a base coat, but I did today because I want to use the rubber color bases as the color for my set. So I decided just to keep everything nice and even and so that all the nails are having the same amount of layers, I would base coat all of the nails. But it's not necessary to base coat over tips because they've already got a base coat underneath when I've applied them. But moving on, let's talk application. So I'm coming in and I'm applying my rubber color base here. Now you'll see the rubber color bases do have a bit of a thicker consistency, and they are, this particular one, this is RB05, this has a beautiful opaque coverage to it as well. So I want to use this color predominantly for the color, so I'm going to apply 2 coats of it to get that opaqueness coming through. And a lot of the time I see it suggested whenever Kiki asks what products you would like to see in the future. I've seen a few times it's suggested that you'd like to see the rubber color bases in builder gel form. So I want to show you guys what I do if I want a more opaque builder gel. What I basically would do is I'll use my rubber color base as a base coat in the first coat, and then I'll do a second coat to get the color coming through, because these are designed so that you can use them as bases or as your gel polish shade. So I will do 2 coats of the rubber color base for the color, and then I will encapsulate with the Kiki London Easy Build Up Gel for that strength and structure. So that way you're getting a builder gel set of nails, but you can use the colors from your rubber color bases. So if you haven't tried that, definitely give it a go. It's a technique I really love because there are so many colors in the rubber color bases that I absolutely love. They are like my go-to for any kind of nude or pinkish nude these days because I really love them, and I love that they add that extra layer of strength, especially when you are working over your natural nails. So if I was just be sculpting for here, I would have to just use this. I would have to sculpt my clear base and then come in with my 2 coats of this for my color, and then I would encapsulate with the Easy Build Up Gel. I hope that makes sense. If it doesn't and you have any questions, pop them in the comments below. But you would basically be sandwiching the color between your 2 layers of builder gel, so that way you get the color from the rubber color base but then the strength from your builder gel. So I just wanted to pop that in there, as I know a lot of you guys love the rubber color bases and do want to see them in builder gel form, which I do hope is something that does come in the future. So here I'm just going to come in and apply that second coat of rubber color base, and this is where you can really see that opacity coming through from this color, and it evens everything out. It is such a beautiful shade, and I do find the rubber color bases very easy to work with. I love that they have that thicker consistency, because when you are working on your natural nails, if you've got any kind of weak or brittle nails, it's brilliant for strengthening them. I have found it great as well for anyone who is a nail biter too, because again it just helps strengthen and repair the natural nails. So this is what it looks like once you have applied your second coat. I'm just going to come in and do the thumbnail as well. So the middle and the ring finger, these are going to have just a hint of nail art on them. We're not adding any chunky glitters to those 2 nails, but we are going to be doing a chunky glitter fade on the thumbnail, and then then the other 2 nails are going to be full chunky glitter nails. So I thought I would show you guys my preferred way of encapsulating chunky glitters so that you get them all encapsulated nicely without a too thick or bulky nail and without any pieces of glitter sticking up. But to begin with, I just wanted to get those bases out of the way. So we're going to pop this in to cure for 30 seconds. All the rubber color bases do require a 30-second cure if you're curing in an LED lamp. Now let's talk encapsulating chunky glitter. So whenever I'm working with chunky glitter, I like to have a finer glitter underneath, especially when you are doing a full cover glitter nail. So like this now is going to be a complete chunky glitter nail. So I like to find a glitter gel polish that complements the chunky glitter that I'm going to work with. So in this case, we have got the beautiful Lady Vegas, and I'm going to pop 1 coat of this down over the entire nail. And this is just going to be a base for our glitter, but you are going to still see a lot of this coming through. So you want to make sure here, especially, you're getting a nice neat cuticle line, you're getting nice and neat at your sidewalls, because then you won't have to stress about getting a neat cuticle line with your chunky glitter, because it's a lot harder to get your chunky glitters neat around your cuticle line than it is with your gel polish. So I went for Lady Vegas because it complemented the glitter that I had picked out, which I'm going to show you guys now. Now if you don't want to necessarily have a glitter that complements it, you can go the opposite way and go for one that contrasts it. Glitter works with glitter very, very well. So I have left Lady Vegas wet, so I haven't popped this into cure yet. And then I'm just going to pop a tiny amount of clear rubber base onto my brush, and I'm simply using this to make it easier to pick up those gel pieces, those glitter pieces. And then what I'm doing is using my round brush, I'm just going to dip in to my raw glitter and place this down into that uncured Lady Vegas. Having that little bit of clear gel on your brush just helps that glitter stick to your brush so that you can transfer it from your pot or your palette onto the nail easily. Now, one thing I will also mention, when you are selecting your chunky glitters, I personally always like to go for multi-cut ones. So I'll go for ones that have got a lot of chunky pieces in there but have got smaller pieces in there as well. This way you can fill in the gaps. Don't be afraid to get several different glitters and mix them together and create your own custom mix. I do this a lot of the time as well because it makes it a lot easier. But what I will do is I will just dip into my glitter. You're going to pick up a mixture of the sizes, but I will nudge them around so that I've got the chunkier glitters going down the center of the nail. The chunkier glitters, you want to keep them anywhere where you're going to be building up your strength and your structure with your encapsulation layer. So I will focus these down that center part of the nail, and then I will use the smaller pieces to go around the edges, around the cuticles, and to fill in any gaps, because personally I try not to layer up the chunky glitters too much. So you don't want them overlapping, because then you're going to have to put down a thicker encapsulation layer. So by nudging them all around in the uncured glitter gel polish, you get a nice flat smooth application of your chunky glitter pieces, and you can nudge them around as much as you want to until you pop them into cure. So we did pop those into cure, and that's those 2 nails done until we have to encapsulate. So we're going to move on to the thumbnail. Now on the thumbnail, we're going to be doing a glitter fade, but I wanted to show you guys that it's a little bit more tricky when you don't have that finer glitter gel underneath. So I could have popped Lady Vegas down underneath, but I wanted to just show you guys that you can still do it without popping a gel polish underneath. You will just need to spend a little bit more time nudging those glitter pieces around. And I always like to work on top of a wet layer. So previously we had the wet layer of Lady Vegas. Because we didn't have that on this nail, I popped down just a really, really thin layer of the clear rubber base coat, and then I'm still using a little bit of clear rubber base on my brush to pick up those glitter pieces. And then I focused on getting that nice neat cuticle line, which you can see is a little bit harder with the chunkier glitters to get the nice smooth round cuticle. So it is that little bit easier by having a fine glitter mix underneath. But I did love how this now turned out, because I really loved how these glitters popped against that nude base. So whenever I'm doing a glitter fade, I will get the bulk of the glitter done first. So that was down at the cuticle area, and again I've really worked with my round nail art brush and that rubber base to make sure that I can push the glitters as close together and get those smaller pieces of glitters into any gaps without layering up the glitter too much. And then once I was happy with that glitter fade, I popped that in to cure. So these, we are going to come in and encapsulate these a little bit further along in the video, but I did want to do a hint of nail art on the middle two fingers. So I'm going to take the three colours that I showed you. So here we have Royalty, then I'm going to pop down Mr. Grey, and then a little bit of Divine Kiss. Again, I tried to pick colours that would complement the glitter that I was using, and these three I just absolutely love, especially for the autumn season. I kind of felt as though using the circular glitters, it gave off a little bit of a bonfire night vibe, so that was what I ended up going with. So with the three colours that I've popped on my palette, I'm going to take my round brush and draw on some circles, and I wanted these to be different sizes, so I'm going to go in with Royalty first of all and draw on slightly larger circles than the other two are going to be. And the detail brush is great for this because it's got a short length to the bristles. It means you've got a lot more control over where the product going, and it's great for these more smaller intricate nail art designs. You guys know that I am not the best at hand painting, so we keep things simple when it comes to hand painting, but this brush is great for anything where you need to get up close to the nail and anything that, yeah, that's that little bit intricate. I know dots aren't necessarily intricate, but I wanted to get the circle shape as neat as possible. I did flash cure Royalty for 10 seconds just so I don't smudge it while I'm coming in with Divine Kiss, and I do want these dots to be a little bit smaller, but I just mapped them out just by literally dotting down my brush and swirling, and then I'm going to go in and just make them a little bit bigger because I wanted them to be smaller than the previous circles, but not as small as what I dotted them down. So we're just going in and literally taking the tip of that brush and just swirling it around and getting that circle shape as neat as possible, and then I'm going to flash cure this again for 10 seconds. And then for my last set of circles, I want these to be the smallest of them all, so I'm going to take the Kiki London dotting tool for this, and I'm going to dip that into Mr. Grey and then simply dot that over the nails and fill in any of the gaps, and then we're going to pop that in for a full 30-second cure. Then it's going to be time to come in and encapsulate the nails using the Easy Build Up Crystal Clear. So what I like to do when I'm encapsulating over chunky glitters is with my slip layer, so the wet first layer of gel you put down, I really like to work it over and around all of those chunky glitter pieces, making sure that it's really getting into the grooves of all of those chunky glitter particles. This way you're going to make sure that you don't get any bubbles or any pockets of air where there's going to be gel missing, because it might not necessarily float over. So with that slip layer, it's really important that you really scrub it in to those chunky glitter particles. Then when it comes, you leave that slip layer wet, by the way, and then when it comes to adding your builder gel layer, you can just float this on, and what the slip layer is going to do is going to help pull that larger ball of gel off your nail, and then you're able to just work it down the nail from side to side all the way down to the tip of the nail. I then like to hold the nail upside down for a few seconds. This helps self level it, and then pop it into cure, and as you can see, we've got a super smooth finish. There's none of those glitter particles sticking up out of the gel. And that is because we bared in mind when we was applying our glitters that we were keeping everything nice and thin and everything nice and flat, and by having that glitter gel polish underneath, we didn't have to layer up our chunky glitters. I'm going to do exactly the same on the thumbnail. I'm going to make sure that I'm really working that slip layer in around all of those chunky particles. I'm going to leave my slip layer wet and pick up my ball of builder gel, and then we're going to start down at the cuticle area and just take this slowly from side to side, working it down the nail. I did need to come in with a little bit more as I hadn't picked up a big enough ball of gel, but I'm just literally working this from side to side, working down the nail. You can see I'm pointing my thumb down slightly. This is to stop the gel running back into that cuticle area. It's going to let gravity do its thing and just pull away from the cuticle area. I do find that the Easy Build Up gels are really lovely to work with because they're not too runny. They have that medium viscosity, so in the majority of the time they will stay where you put them. You just need to bear in mind how you're holding your finger. I did get a little bit on my cuticle area when I was applying my gel, so I did just clean up with a little bit of alcohol, and again I'll just hold upside down just to help pull that gel into the center of the nail, self level everything out, and then it helps build up a nice apex as well. Now on to the middle finger here, we're just encapsulating like a normal nail. We've not got any chunky glitters to encapsulate. So I just come in, apply my slip layer the same way you would apply your gel polish, so just a thin layer of the gel. Then I pick up my builder gel ball and I just again work this from side to side. I leave a lot of that product in the back third to build up the apex, and then I'm just kind of feathering and fading it down towards the tip of the nail so it gets thinner as we get down towards that tip end of the nail. And then you would have seen on all of the nails I kind of check from all angles, and if there are any areas where there's little dips, I will come in and apply a little bit more gel, and again hold upside down for 60 seconds to help pull it all in to the center of the nail. I had encapsulated the other two nails off camera. I didn't want to keep repeating myself, but yeah, I had done those off camera, so we haven't skipped encapsulating those. So once they had been all cured, I'm going to come in and wipe away the tacky layer using one of the Kiki London alcohol wipes before we come in and file. So I'm going to take my file and I'm going to use the 100 grit side just to fix up my shape a little bit. I want a more crisper shape. And then these had self-leveled beautifully, so they didn't need any filing over the surface of the nail, but I do like to come in and debulk my cuticle area, and I usually do this with the 180 grit side. Now you'll see here I did file in to my glitter a little bit, and this is something that you need to bear in mind, especially when working in the cuticle area. I like to have a really thin flush cuticle, and that can be a little bit trickier to get with a chunky glitter. So I left it in because I like to show you guys if I make any mistakes, but really I shouldn't have come in and debulked that cuticle area because it didn't need it. It wasn't bulky. I'd applied my gel nicely, but I'm used to coming in and just debulking around that with the 180 grit side of my file, and it didn't necessarily need it. A buff would have been sufficient. So I'm going to show you guys here again. I come in with the 100 grit side of my file and just crisp up my shape, and then I like to come in with the 180 and just go around the side walls and that cuticle area, just because I like to personally have them quite thin. If I have got an uneven or bulky application, I will come over the entire nail with the 180 grit side of the file, which I'm sure you would have seen in previous videos. But if I feel as though it's not necessary because the gel is applied, I've done my application good basically, then I'll just come in and buff, and I'll usually use a combination of the 100 grit buffer to begin with and then switch over to the other side and go over with the 180 just to make sure we've got out any scratches that might be left behind, so we've got a nice smooth surface. You do want to bear in mind not to over buff. You don't want to be like buffing to a shine, because we are going to come in and top coat, and your top coat needs something to grab onto. So then I took the Kiki London dust brush and gave my nails a good dust and all of my hand, and removed as much of that dust as possible with the dust brush. But then I do like to wipe over the nails with an alcohol wipe just to get any dust that might have been left behind, and just to make sure that the nails are super clean before we come in and top coat, or in this case before we come in and apply a little bit of stamping. But you want to make sure that you have removed any dust particles, because that will ruin the finished result. If you've got any little particles of dust on the nail and then you come in and top coat, I'm sure you guys know that it is super annoying. So over the middle two nails, I'm just going to show you guys on one nail. I did add a hint of stamping because I wanted these to have a little bit more of an autumn vibe than what they were having. So I just popped down two little leaves, and I went for these little images that have little gaps in them so that you can still see some of the colour popping through, which is a little hard to see on camera, but in real life you can pick it up a little bit better. But I loved how it just added that extra layer of nail art to the design. So then we are going to come in and top coat with the Hema no wipe top coat. I haven't used this one very much, but it has such a beautiful high shine to it, and it's great that it's a Hema free product. The easy build up range is Hema free as well, so you could get a full Hema free system if you use the Hema free base and top, the easy build up gel, and there are 6 colors in the Kiki London Hema free range as well. So if you haven't already checked that out, I will leave a link in the description box below to that video. But this top coat has such a beautiful crystal clear high shine finish. I absolutely love it. It has a really nice thin consistency to it as well, so it's great if you've already added a lot of your strength and structure with your rubber scrub base and your builder gel, and you just want to come in, seal everything in and get a beautiful high shine. It does require a 60-second cure, so we popped it into cure for 60 seconds, and just look at the clarity between the easy build up gel and the Hema free no wipe top coat. I absolutely love it. Lastly, I am going to come in and just finish off with a little bit of cuticle oil just to nourish and replenish my cuticles. And then that, guys, is the end of the video. So I really hope you enjoyed today's video. If you do have any questions, pop them in the comments below and I will be happy to help. If you have any video suggestions, please do pop them below as well. We're kind of creeping into winter and Christmas nails soon, and I can't wait to get started on some Christmas content. But let me know what you guys would like to see. As always, I will leave all the products I've used in the description box below, so do check that out. If you enjoyed today's video, I would absolutely love it if you could give it a thumbs up, and if you aren't already subscribed to the channel, I would absolutely love it if you could hit that subscription button as well. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. Thank you all so much for watching. Lots of love. Take care. Bye bye.